into our downtown Tampa office today. Hopefully this is the last time we're going to end our lease. Our lease ends next month, so we really need to shut it down. We've been kind of postponing going into the office, but really need to get in there, shut everything down, get all the equipment shipped off back to our company. Most of us just work from home. We've had this co-working location for like 3 years now. And I started it up with my boss, and my boss has moved on. And we've lost some members of our team, and so we don't use it anymore. It's time to let the office go. It's just a waste of money. So something else that's pretty exciting, I can't wait for, is tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to see, we're going to Sessanta, is I think how you pronounce it. You know me, you know my pronunciation. You know this is how I am. Sessanta. So it is, if you don't know what this is, it's a perfect circle, Puscifer, and Primus all on the stage together, and they kind of rotate the stage, and there's like no downtime in between, or so I'm reading and hearing. And so, one band plays, and then another band, and then another band, and they just continue doing this. And I'm really, really excited about it. I'm a huge Tool fan. Love Maynard. And we had tickets to go see Tool. We had tickets in March 2020 to go see Tool. So I've never seen Tool. Never have seen them. And this is the next best thing, I think. Especially because I hear that Tool, Maynard likes to be in the shadows when he's playing with Tool. And now he's going to be like front and center with Puscifer and A Perfect Circle. So I can't wait. I'm so psyched about that. The only thing that I'm not psyched about is that we can't record. It says like on the tickets that it is a no phones show, but if you follow Maynard's rules and don't record throughout the whole thing, he'll reward you with 2 songs at the end that you can record. Come on, man. We paid all this money. Let us record. But anywho, so really excited about going to see that tomorrow. Don and I are going to go do that. And, we're trying not to spend too much money on concerts. We're trying to pay down this debt, get it all paid off by December. Doing really well with that, too. I'm under $30,000 now. I believe when I last checked in with you guys, I was at $37,000. So really, really sacrificing a lot. How we paid for Mexico was a combination of, selling some things on Facebook Marketplace, tax return, money, and some other stuff. Okay, tonight's the night for Sessanta. Hence the goth look, which is probably going to melt off of my face as we're actually walking into the venue. It's Florida, it's hot. I'm wearing shorts, but I figured I don't get to put this type of makeup on too often anymore. I'm getting older, it's probably gonna look ridiculous. It probably does look ridiculous already, but who cares? We're going, it's gonna be fun. So, I think I was saying earlier in my video that we've got the 3 bands that are going to be on stage, and it's going to be like a continuous rotation. So A Perfect Circle, Puscifer, and Primus. Perfect storm is what you can call it. Freaking perfect storm, man. All right. So I cannot record anything there, unfortunately. Maybe the last 2 songs. Maybe I'll be able to, but you won't be able to hear it anyway because of copyright issues. So there goes that out the window. And I won't be able to see because I don't have my glasses. This is going to be a night. It's going to be a night to remember. I wanted to give you an update on the garage sale. Think, Nikki, think. The garage sale, it went really, really well. God, there was so many people that actually came into the neighborhood. And I was getting a mix of, well, some people said that there were a lot of people that had set up, and some people said, nah, it's not too many throughout the neighborhood. So I don't know. I was running the garage sale, so I couldn't get out there to see who actually was setting up. But the people across the street set up, and the people down the street set up. And the people down the street, they were done by like 10:30. They're like, I'm out of here. The people across the street, they're fairly new to the neighborhood. So they're like, yeah, we'll stay until the end. Stay until 3. Not in Florida. Not in Florida. You have garage sales when it's cooler outside, and then you stop. When the heat starts, you stop because it's just gonna get nasty. Now, they had a Goodwill truck at the park in our neighborhood, so I was able to take some things there, but I didn't have to take too much, actually. I sold a lot. I got rid of a lot. It still feels like there's so much in this house to get rid of still. So I know it's gonna have to be done in waves and phases here, but I made, how much did I make? How much do you ask? I made close to $300 from this sale. So that is close to another plane ticket to go to Mexico again later in the year. Maybe around Labor Day. Maybe La Paz. We don't know yet. But I just wanted to give you an update on that because I thought that was pretty good money for sitting out there and just watching people drive up. I hate the ones that just drive and then they stop, they peer around, and they're like, meh, and drive off. But I did have quite a few characters show up at the garage sale. Okay, so one guy came up. Well, let's talk about the first customer. The first customer came up and he grabbed this black statue, kind of an Asian type, food dog type statue. And then he grabbed a white one that was in my bathroom. And I think I got the black one at Goodwill and I got the white one at Home Goods. But I had the black one marked at $10 and I had forgotten to put a sticker on the white one. And so, I said, I forgot to price that one. He's like, well, I was kind of hoping you'd throw it in. And I was like, okay then. And then he grabbed a coaster. It was just a single coaster that I had marked as $1. He's like, and I thought you'd throw this in too. And I'm like, well, did you now? I did. I threw it in. I want to get rid of the crap. So that was one that was memorable. Then there was Gracie. Gracie was probably 3. Gracie saw a little timer. It was like this free timer that came as swag for my husband with his work. And she saw this little timer. I had him put batteries in it, and she came over and she's like, I want a timer. And her mom and her grandma, her Mima, were buying a bunch of stuff, so that was cool. So Gracie and I hung out. She wanted to know, could she have the timer? I said, well, I offered the timer to her. I'm like, you want the timer? She's like, yes. I said, okay, but you got to tell me your name. And she's like, Gracie. So we hung out while her mom and Mima shopped. So she was a fun little character. She kept taking one of those wicker basket shelves and putting it on my lap and then putting the timer on it. And she's like, it's a chair. And I'm like, well, no, it's a shelf. But it's a chair. I said, no, it's a shelf. She's like, but we can't sit on shelves. I'm like, no, we can't. But it's a chair. So she was very, very... And then the last guy I'll tell you about, he was a character. He comes up into the yard, and it looked like his shirt didn't quite fit him. It was kind of cropped and kind of loud too. And he's like, got any jewelry? Now, I was asked about jewelry a couple times. I was selling a jewelry box, which did sell. And then I was asked about jewelry, costume jewelry, real jewelry, gold, I guess gold's up now. So, but he comes in, he goes, got any jewelry? And I said, nope, don't have any jewelry. You're second, third person to ask me about that. Got any class rings?
class rings? Yeah, high school rings. You got any high school rings? I'm like, well, I do have my high school rings still. Well, sell it to me. And I'm like, no, I don't want to part with that. That's sentimental. I'm not going to part with my class. You need to sell it to me. I'm a pawn dealer and you got to sell it to me. I'm like, no, not going to part with it. Sorry. And then he just took off. Sell me your jewelry, lady. So that's what you're dealing with when you do a garage sale. Anywho, it went well. Only stayed out there about 4 hours. Made almost $300. I call it a win. Got rid of my stuff. Got rid of, a fairly good amount. I'll show you in the video if I haven't already. But it was pretty successful. And the neighborhood has 2 of them, and the other one is in November. So I'll try to do like Facebook marketplace sales throughout the rest of the year. And then I'll probably sit out there in November. It depends on, sometimes November is really hot in Florida. Sometimes it cools down by then. It used to be that you could set your clock to, look at me, I'm sounding old. Get rid of the goth makeup, Nikki. You're sounding old. But it used to be you could set your watch to the first week in October as to when it cools down in Florida. Can't do that anymore. It just depends. It varies. So, but anyway, we're going to the content.